How to train your back at home with no weights. It was just calisthenics. The thing is, when I was just starting out, I had no idea of any of this. I think mainly it's because like your back is on your back. Like I can't see it, and so I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking more so like arms and muscles and biceps and everything. I started off with my fitness routine, my journey. And then later, then I realized everyone was training back. And like, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience, but I don't train back, or I didn't train back before. It's just not something that really comes up that much. I don't really hear people a lot. But if you look online, and if you're in those spaces, like around, girls like that, book talk boy sort of thing, if you're around that, you'll hear and realize like women are apparently crazy for a guy's back muscles. And so the question then becomes, well, how do you train your back? How do you get your demon back, as they call it? What's actually quite interesting is that I found out I have a pretty good back already. Not world record breaking anything, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying I have a pretty good back. And I looked at it in a video I made, and I realized that it came from the exercises I was already doing. So I accidentally trained back. I already apparently have a pretty good back. So it really is actually quite simple. I always preach that lean is long. That you should try to appeal max. And actually having a good back can help you appeal max pretty well. It goes with the frame principle, what I talked about, where frame is law and frame is kind of your everything in terms of how you look. If you want to look as aesthetic as possible, you want that V-taper look, that's 1.6 ratio. Like I said, remember I mentioned we want broader shoulders. Now shoulders are going to help you clearly look more wider, but what's actually going to do the most amount of work is back exercise. You see, because training your back is what really makes you have that big look to you. If you're a guy, you really would look more domineering and dominating. You want a bigger back. And bigger back, specifically, there are these muscles like around here. Around your lats. And your lats, they're called like the wings. And just having them stick out more is going to make you look bigger and actually more aesthetic or attractive to women. Only trained the right way. I see there are a lot of guys who kind of look big, look like a hulking monster. Again, you want to be appeal maxing, not getting too big and too massive. Sometimes you are in that mood where you do want to look bigger, you want to look bulkier, you want to look more domineering to other guys that look like, get away from me, like they don't want to pick a fight. So there is a balance. But like I said, as for back workouts, they actually are going to make you look more aesthetic. And you actually even feel more aesthetic. When it comes to actually training back, there are 2 exercises. I start off with 1, but there are actually 2 that you need. And the main thing is pull-ups. And pull-ups are really all you need to get a good back. Like I said, I had a pretty good back. I noticed, or have a good back. And I looked at the video, and I realized it was because I was doing pull-ups. And pull-ups are a very back-centered exercise. Now, with all calisthenics exercises, you are training multiple muscles where it trains the chest, it actually trains your arms. I thought it was more of an arm exercise. But I realized when I do pull-ups, I really just target my back and making me look like a bit more wider, not fat, but wider around the top area, making my waist look smaller by comparison. And they really are such a fantastic exercise. I actually decided to add them in on Fridays. So now on Fridays, I do an extra few sets of pull-ups just to get a good pumping. Pull-ups are really your cornerstone, your go-to, because most pulling exercises you're going to realize are targeting your back and engaging the back muscles in some sort of way, because it's obviously not your one muscle. Clearly there's multiple, but it's going to be engaging most of your back muscles in a certain way. Pushing exercises are going to target more of your chest, things like that around this area. So you're just pushing away. So people have push, pull, split. You need both to look good. Now, the second one is actually going to be chin-ups. And chin-ups are something that I did for arms or biceps, and I still do them for biceps. But they, like I said, a lot of pulling exercises require the back muscles to be engaged. And if you look at the positioning of it, of a pull-up, where I'm going like this, it's targeting my chest, but also it's targeting the back. And imagine if I had a bar, I'd be pushing like this. But like I mentioned, you don't need the bar. All this is achievable at home because I did it all at home. I got a fantastic physique at home all by myself, and you actually could too. If you want to know exactly what I did to build such a physique at home in less than a few years, I built it crazy quick. I have the Athletic Lifestyle down in the description below, where I teach you everything that I did to get my physique, all at home without spending $1. I did it completely free. Basically unemployment. I did it on the pandemic. Back exercises, you're going to want to be doing them about 3 to 4 times a week. If you're doing full body split, it's clearly in the split already, but having a more wider back just makes your body look better. Now, there's specific photos of me when I have a bigger back and I kind of look like a bit fat. And that is because I wasn't adhering or obeying the law that lean is law. So with all of these exercises that I'm telling you, the muscles are going to look better. If you are eating in a calorie deficit and you are practicing the lean law, you get really big and bulky and have a big back, and that's great. But if you want to look more aesthetic as possible, remember your frame and to keep your proportions straight and everything. You want a really good back, which the ladies are going to love. Then you need to spam pull-ups and spam chin-ups. Get a bar. That might be the only thing you have to buy. But if you already have a bar or even the top of a door frame, something like that, what you can do is just start repping out pull-ups. Now, the specific way to do them, make sure that your chin is going above the bar. Now, that's support your chin-ups. But even with pull-ups, it's one complete rep if around your chin goes above the bar, or at least try to get to eye level if you're too tired. But in terms of pulling up, going higher, getting the full range of motion is going to build you more muscle. In terms of grip, you want to make sure you're really gripping the bar overhead like this, where you do pull-ups in the supinated grip. All right, the pronated grip is like this, and it targets the muscles in the middle of your back, whereas the pronate is going to hit more of the back to make you look more wider, just bigger in frame. Use these two workouts to build your back and really build out your frame. Remember, frame is law. All right, stay proportionate. Don't get too big, but make sure you are looking as aesthetic as possible, and use this. Do it all at home completely for free, and you will look like the guy that the girls are chasing after. All right. Stay flashy.